Bursting into 2019 like a liquor with an attitude problem, Resident Evil 2 Remake is the first AAA release of the new calendar year, and my goodness does it start 2019 off with a bang. I'm talking a magnum round to a zombie head from 2 meters out bang. It's amazing. Now, full disclosure, I'm a Resident Evil tragic, and the original Resident Evil 2 is one of my favourite games of all time. Now, this does not mean this review has me wearing crimson red coloured glasses. No siree. I'm as honest as Barry Burton. Set 2 months after the events of the original game, the T-Virus has now swept through the sleepy mountain town of Raccoon City, transforming its citizens into flesh-eating zombies. Resident Evil 2 brings the same cast of characters back from the original, throwing you into the role of either Leon Kennedy, the rookie police officer on his first day of duty at the Raccoon City Police Department, or Claire Redfield, a motorbike-riding college student searching for her brother Chris. For those playing at home, Chris Redfield is one of the playable characters from Resident Evil 1. Sadly, he was not the master of lockpicking.
Jill, here's a lockpick. It might be handy if you, the master of unlocking, take it with you.
Resident Evil 2 has never looked better. Rebuilt from the ground up using RE Engine, which is the same engine running both Resident Evil 7 and the upcoming Devil May Cry 5. Running at a gorgeous 4K resolution and a buttery smooth 60 frames per second, the game's visuals show Raccoon City in an entirely new light. And well, I guess a new darkness, thanks to the dynamic lighting effects courtesy of HDR. The majority of the Raccoon City landscape is dimly lit. Instead, you'll find yourself relying upon your trusty flashlight, flickering halogen bulbs, and lightning strikes to provide you limited bursts of visibility, often turning shadows to life as you creep about searching for clues and a way out. Signs of struggle are everywhere. Raccoon City's hallways show the remnants of previous exchanges. Claw marks on walls, bodies hung from the ceiling like twisted decorations, and dried pools of blood are used to great effect. Atmosphere has always been one of the biggest selling points of the Resident Evil franchise. You're on edge right from the outset through the closing credits, thanks to claustrophobic hallways, clever use of camera angles with danger around every corner, and the sounds of shuffling undead feet coupled with a dwindling ammo supply. RE2 takes that same horror and tension from previous entries and turns it up to 11. Bidirectional audio has you constantly frozen in place, listening for clues as to where that terrifying clack-clack of a licker's giant claws is coming from. Survival horror hasn't always been about what you can see. It's what you can't that gets the heart pumping. By ditching the fixed camera angles of the original, Capcom has implemented 3D audio, draping you in a blanket of binaural tension as you attempt to escape Raccoon City. It's expertly crafted and has you feeling uneasy through your entire playthrough. Resident Evil 2 forgoes tank controls, which I learned to love and sometimes hate over the early Resident Evil titles, instead replacing them with a playstyle in line with the over-the-shoulder shooter styling from Resident Evil 4. For the hardcore fans out there, fear not, as there is an option to play tank if you want that core experience again. Something I tried for about 10 minutes, shedding a few tears and making a few squeals while being chased by a bloodthirsty hunter. The updated controls can still feel a little clunky at times, channeling elements from the original, making you feel like you aren't always in complete control. Gunplay often creates panic, and missing a shot due to bad aim, well, let's be honest, being freaking terrified, is something you'll get used to during the 7 or so hour playthrough. Rarely does the game put you in a position of power. Feeling untouchable against enemies isn't something that happens here, but instead every battle could potentially mean death. With an ammo shortage, you need to pick and choose which enemies to engage and which to try and avoid. Timing your run to that next safe room can be sweat-inducing, with one wrong move bringing about your demise. Thankfully, Capcom have implemented an auto-save feature, with saves typically taking place before key scenes or boss encounters, the latter of which are intense, with tyrants looking and acting as terrifying as ever. It's another nice touch to do away with the need to carry around ink ribbons to save your progress manually, which helps keep the momentum going and avoids clogging up your already limited inventory. This is a feature you'll be praising regularly as you juggle obscure items needed to solve those timeless puzzles. Remaking a beloved title 20 years later was an ambitious undertaking from Capcom. Due to lackluster releases in Resident Evil 5 and 6, the franchise and its relevance within the horror space was very much in question. On the back of the success of Resident Evil 7, and now the remake of the best game in the series, all signs point to a positive future for the inevitable 8th installment. Resident Evil 2 is everything a fan could hope for and more. Taking everything great from the original and giving it that next-gen treatment, Capcom has created something special. This reimagining combines gorgeous graphics, claustrophobic atmosphere, improved controls, and added replayability. Here's looking at you, Hunk and Tofu. And after 20 years, the story is still entertaining, littered with jump scares, memorable characters, and just the right amount of video game cheesiness. Resident Evil 2 is an early frontrunner for Game of the Year and is officially 8-bit approved.